In the heart of Willow Springs, Emily Thompson embodied the essence of hope. At the age of 28, her warmth illuminated the classrooms, inspiring children to envision grand dreams and have faith in what lies ahead. Her union with Jack Carter was, in the eyes of all, a vivid testament to an ideal romance. Jack, with his commanding presence, managed the auto shop he had inherited from his father, embodying respect and responsibility, the kind of husband any woman would dream of having. Yet, much like in every captivating tale, the cheerful expressions masked underlying fissures that only Emily was starting to perceive. The morning Emily found out she was pregnant was like a beam of light piercing through the clouds of a tempest. She was swept away by a surge of joy as she envisioned Jack cradling their baby, his laughter echoing with pride. In that moment, a realization washed over her, a spark igniting the imagination of what could unfold. Perhaps Jack found himself buried under the weight of responsibilities at the shop, and the arrival of the baby could spark a new chapter in their relationship. Emily felt a surge of excitement as she planned to unveil the news that evening, crafting a delightful dinner to mark the beginning of this new journey. Emily dedicated the whole day to crafting a meal filled with love, selecting Jack's beloved dishes: smoked ribs slathered in barbecue sauce and a warm cinnamon apple pie. The table was a sight to behold, adorned with wildflowers she had gathered herself that very morning. She donned a simple yet elegant blue dress and gazed at her reflection, attempting to push aside the lingering shadows of concern in her own eyes. He's embarking on a journey to find joy, she whispered to herself like a cherished tale. Jack stepped inside, a mere echo of the person Emily had once cherished. He walked in with a shirt that bore the marks of a long day, his hair a chaotic mess. And without a second thought, he stepped onto the immaculate carpet, shoes still caked in dirt. With his shoulders hunched and a distant gaze in his eyes, the gaze that had once filled her heart with warmth now felt as frigid as a winter's eve. With a tentative smile, Emily approached him, yet he merely muttered something unclear, his gaze drifting away. She experienced a constriction in her chest. A sense of unease lingered in the air, completely off the mark. As they shared their meal, Emily attempted to weave a tapestry of conversation, but Jack's replies were mere threads of monosyllables. With each effort she put forth to bridge the gap, he appeared to drift even further into the distance. At last, she reached her breaking point. Jack, can you share what's happening? It feels like you hardly notice my presence anymore. The question lingered, heavy and foreboding, yet Emily found herself unready for what lay ahead. He placed his fork on the table, letting out a deep sigh, as if he were about to finally speak his mind. Emily, I have a tale I must share with you. I find it hard to continue on this path. She stood still, a chill creeping through her veins. What do you mean? She whispered softly, striving to maintain her composure. I I encountered another person. The words landed with a heavy impact, leaving a profound effect. Could you clarify that? Emily's voice was on the brink of fading away. She gazed at him, hoping he would declare it was all a misunderstanding, a wicked jest. Yet Jack pressed on, unwavering. I'm alongside Samantha. Once upon a time, there was a character named Hayes. There's something about her, Emily, that captivates my heart. And I'm setting off on a new journey. The stillness that ensued was overwhelming. Emily, taken aback, found it hard to catch her breath. Her mind whirled, the meal in her belly feeling like a weight too great to bear. Oh, Jack, what were you thinking? Her words emerged as a quivering murmur, heavy with sorrow. Jack averted his eyes, unable to confront her stare. I'm afraid, Emily, that this is the way it must unfold. He rose to his feet, took hold of his car keys, and departed, leaving Emily in the heavy stillness of the house that had once been filled with their shared memories. The wildflowers on the table appeared to fade right before her eyes, mirroring the fading visions of a shared future. Emily lingered in silence for what felt like an eternity, her gaze lost in the emptiness, until finally she gently rested a hand on her belly. There rested her sole motivation to continue on, onward, regardless of the outcome. She murmured softly, her cheeks wet with tears. I will stand by your side and keep you safe. I will share with you all the affection he stole from us. What did you think of the beginning of the tale? Share with us the city that has captured your attention. We are eager to discover the journey this thrilling novel is taking us on. In Willow Springs, the winds of change were stirring like never before. In the quaint little town where familiarity was the norm, whispers filled the air about the unfolding drama surrounding Jack Carter. He was now often spotted with Samantha Hayes, while his estranged wife, Emily Thompson, found herself navigating the challenges of pregnancy on her own. Jack and Samantha appeared unfazed by the murmurs or the judgmental stares around them. In fact, they appeared to flourish because of them. Samantha, with her trademark cynical smile, took every opportunity to stroll arm in arm with Jack. Whether they were meandering through the streets, sipping coffee at cafes, or mingling at church events where the entire community came together, for countless individuals, it was a bold challenge. For Emily, each day felt like an endless struggle. 5 months pregnant, Emily navigated a journey filled with profound struggles. Jack's betrayal cut deep, a wound that was difficult to endure. Yet, the scorn from certain townsfolk added an extra layer of anguish to the experience. Samantha, with her knack for weaving tales, had circulated whispers that Emily was responsible for the unraveling of the marriage, suggesting that she had failed Jack or that the pregnancy was a cunning ploy to ensnare him. The tale traveled swiftly, igniting curiosity everywhere. As Emily strolled through the town, a sense of scrutiny enveloped her, as if the very air was thick with unspoken opinions. Soft murmurs trailed behind her, and at times, harsh phrases were uttered just within her earshot. It's unfortunate that she continues to appear in this place, one woman whispered at the market, feigning ignorance of Emily's presence nearby. Jack was worthy of so much more than what she offered. In the midst of her struggles, Emily endeavored to maintain her dignity. In the midst of doubts and unpredictability, she understood the importance of standing tall for her daughter. In the quiet moments, she discovered solace in the gentle gestures of compassion that brightened her days. And so it was that Ryan Miller re entered her world once more. Once upon a time, in a quaint little town, there lived a boy named Ryan who grew up alongside a girl named Emily. As fate would have it, Ryan blossomed into the town's beloved doctor. With a height that seemed to touch the sky, his calming smile and warm eyes wove a sense of comfort and reassurance for all who wandered through Willow Springs. Upon learning of Emily's predicament, Ryan felt compelled to lend a hand in every possible manner. He made it a point to see her often, ensuring her well-being in every sense. "You don't have to face this by yourself," he said softly during one of his visits, cradling her hands with care. "Emily, you possess a strength that you may not fully recognize." Those words had the ability to calm the turbulent waves of feelings inside her. As the days passed, Ryan's presence grew into a vital part of Emily's life. He stood by her side during prenatal appointments, surprised her with fresh fruits to nourish her, and inspired her to embark on a small sewing project that not only kept her engaged, but also added a little extra to her income. Ryan's connection with Emily went beyond the professional boundaries of his role as a doctor. He stood by her side, a steadfast companion, someone who had unwavering faith in her strength to overcome, even when the odds were stacked against her. Meanwhile, Samantha wove her intricate web around Jack, her tactics both captivating and unsettling. She wove a narrative that painted any connection with Emily as a perilous threat to the fresh chapter they were embarking on together. "You must sever all connections with her," Samantha declared, in her gaze icy and unwavering. "She's trying to pull you back into that ordinary chapter of your lives together." Jack, utterly captivated, embraced Samantha's fabrications as undeniable truth. He ceased responding to Emily's messages and started to overlook her calls. Even more troubling, Samantha convinced him to evade his financial obligations, arguing that he shouldn't have to provide for someone who was exploiting him. Emily understood that he shouldn't hold any expectations from Jack. Every day unfolded like a saga, yet she steadfastly chose not to let resentment take hold of her heart. She chose to concentrate on the aspects within her grasp, crafting a brighter tomorrow for her daughter. She started crafting tiny garments to sell, and with Ryan's support, she discovered how to navigate her finances more effectively. With each step she took, she distanced herself from what once was, embracing the promise of a fresh beginning. On a sweltering summer afternoon, Emily strolled through the town square, sensing the gentle nudges of her baby in her belly, as if the little one were imparting strength to her. As she strolled past a cozy cafe, she caught a glimpse of Jack and Samantha sharing a moment of joy, their laughter ringing out like a delightful melody. Samantha, catching sight of Emily, cast a glance, brimming with contempt, and seized Jack's face, planting a dramatic kiss on him, ensuring that Emily was watching intently. Emily took a moment to reflect, sensing the familiar ache begin to stir within her. With a gentle touch on her belly, she inhaled deeply, grounding herself in the present. With unwavering determination, she continued on her path. The atmosphere felt softer now. It seemed that the affection she held for her daughter was starting to occupy the emptiness Jack had created. As she stepped through the door, Ryan sat on the porch, a bag of groceries in hand, and that familiar smile lighting up his face, a beacon of tranquility in her busy world. I figured you could use a nourishing meal after such a long day, he remarked as he entered alongside her. Emily beamed with joy. After what seemed like an eternity, a glimmer of hope began to emerge, illuminating her path forward. Even in the face of her many losses, she discovered that kindness still existed in the world, and above all, hope remained alive. Jack Carter found himself in a dream that was gradually starting to come apart at the seams, though he remained blissfully unaware of the impending unraveling. Since the moment he departed to join Samantha Hayes, he felt he was embracing the life he had always yearned for, liberated, in love, and alongside a dynamic woman who appeared ready to take on anything that came her way. Samantha exuded an enchanting allure, her elegance captivating all who crossed her path, while her self assured demeanor drew him in like a moth to a flame. She wove a sense of significance around him, as if he were a character meant for extraordinary adventures. Yet, Harlan Yorkith, her enchanting smile and gleaming eyes, Samantha concealed mysteries as shadowy as her aspirations. It all started with a subtle shift in the numbers, a whisper of trouble that caught Jack's attention as he examined his bank statements. Significant amounts of money were disappearing from his accounts, and Samantha consistently had a plausible story to share. "They're merely opportunities, Jack," she'd say with an enchanting grin. "You'll appreciate this when the rewards start rolling in." With unwavering faith, he accepted it without a second thought. Her confidence radiated so strongly that it was difficult to question her motives. Yet, the uncertainties started to swell, nurtured by subtle nuances he found impossible to overlook. On a quiet evening, as the water cascaded over Samantha in the shower, Jack's attention was drawn to the rhythmic vibrations of her phone resting on the table. A message arrived from a number I didn't recognize. He typically respected her privacy, yet that night held an unusual weight, as if an unseen force compelled him to seek out the hidden truths waiting to be revealed. As he unlocked the phone, a wave of astonishment washed over him at what lay before his eyes. Intricate narratives surrounding financial dealings and suggestive mentions of his name being used in suspicious real estate deals. Samantha had been weaving a web of deceit with Jack as the unsuspecting figurehead in her elaborate tale. In a heartbeat, the facade of joy crumbled away. Samantha's betrayal cut deep, intertwining the personal with the professional in a tale of trust shattered. He understood that if this came to light, he would bear the weight of those transactions alone. As Samantha emerged from the shower, enveloped in her plush robe, Jack seized the moment to reveal the messages on her phone, his expression a mix of urgency and concern. What's going on here, Samantha? Are you really using my name to carry out illegal activities? Instead of expressing regret or offering an apology, Samantha laughed coldly or gave a heartless chuckle that shook Jack deeply or made Jack deeply uncomfortable. Oh, Jack, let me share a tale with you. Did you honestly believe my feelings were genuine? She remarked, folding her arms and gazing at him with an expression that suggested he was quite innocent. You're an uncomplicated soul, Jack. A man received a fortune and a garage, yet lacked the drive to make the most of them. This was done with us in mind. Well, for my part, truly, Jack sensed the earth giving way. Harlan yoked at his feet. I poured my heart and soul into everything for you, Samantha. I ruined everything for you, he cried, his voice brimming with anguish and desperation. With a disdainful smirk, she retorted, Don't hold me responsible for the paths you've chosen. You were aware of your choice when you picked me. I made the choice that felt right for me, and now it's time for me to go. I have no intention of hanging around to deal with what comes next. Samantha seized a suitcase that had been waiting for her in the closet, as if she had known this moment would come, and stepped out the door without a glance behind her. With Samantha's departure, Jack found himself shattered and lost. Whispers of his clandestine dealings circulated rapidly, and in a matter of weeks, he found himself stripped of it all. Once upon a time, a garage that had been a hub of activity fell silent, its doors locked tight as financial troubles took their toll. The protagonist found himself staring at an empty bank account, a stark reminder of his dwindling fortunes. In the wake of a scandal, the camaraderie he once cherished vanished like smoke, leaving him to navigate the shadows of betrayal alone. In Willow Springs, he found himself a figure of disdain, burdened by the consequences of his decisions. Meanwhile, Emily found herself in the midst of her own gripping moments, months filled with tension, scrutiny, and sorrow were weighing heavily. As she approached the 7th month of her pregnancy, a wave of intense pain and contractions swept over her while she was immersed in her work at home. She sensed that something was amiss. With a swift motion, she reached for her phone and dialed Ryan, who picked up right away and hurried to her side. In the hospital, the atmosphere was tense and fraught with urgency. Emily found herself in the midst of a challenging journey as she faced premature labor, with complications that weighed heavily on her heart. Ryan, drawing on his medical knowledge, sensed that this was a crucial turning point. He grasped Emily's hand tightly, offering comfort as tears streamed down her face. a reflection of her pain and fear. "You're going to be okay," he said with conviction, though a weight of concern lingered in his heart. He understood the dangers that loomed for both Emily and the baby, yet he was aware that he had to mask his worries from her. In a scene filled with determination, the medical team poured their hearts into their work while Ryan skillfully orchestrated the procedures. After hours filled with tension and worry, Emily welcomed into the world a premature yet remarkably strong baby girl. In a delicate moment, the tiny infant was gently nestled in an incubator while Emily stayed under careful watch. Ryan remained a steadfast presence, providing solace and ensuring the safety of both mother and daughter throughout their journey. Jack, in contrast, found himself seated in a dilapidated bar in the nearby town, nursing a drink as he tried to escape the chaos that had overtaken his life. His decisions had woven a series of consequences that now enveloped him. He reflected on Emily, the child he had turned away, and the vows he had failed to keep. After a long stretch of time, he found himself enveloped in a deep sense of remorse that took hold of him completely. He understood that the past was set in stone, yet the weight of his guilt would follow him like a shadow, a constant reminder of choices made and paths taken. So, are you captivated by my storytelling so far? How about we share a little inside humor? Drop the word cat in the comments, and anyone not in the loop will be completely lost. I'll swing by and drop off a small token of affection for you. Would you like to be a part of this? The arrival of Lila Grace marked a transformative moment for Emily Thompson. In the days that unfolded after her daughter's arrival, Emily unearthed a strength within herself that she had never realized was there. In the face of challenges, she discovered a newfound clarity in her life's purpose. In her quest to nurture her daughter with the affection she had been deprived of through months of betrayal and abandonment, Lila, with her sparkling eyes and small, fragile hands, embodied the idea that even the most profound suffering could lead to the emergence of something remarkable. Emily embraced her new life as a single mother, weaving her days with resilience and determination. The days stretched on, yet she adorned them with little bursts of happiness, such as the way Lila's face lit up at the sound of her voice, or the gentle caress of the baby's hand against her cheek. She leaned on Ryan's unwavering support, who had woven himself into the fabric of her daily existence. He not only attended to Lila's medical needs, but also ensured that Emily carved out a few moments for herself to recharge. "You don't always need to wear a cape," he would say, gently holding Lila in his arms, allowing Emily to savor a peaceful cup of tea. In another world, Jack Carter was experiencing a reality that was worlds apart. The remnants of financial and social devastation that Samantha had abandoned transformed him into a broken man or deeply troubled person. He drifted through the streets of Willow Springs, a mere whisper in the night, evading the eyes of passers-by and the echoes of his past missteps. Yet, it was the sorrow of leaving Emily and their child that haunted him the deepest. He struggled to conjure the image of the infant he had yet to encounter, yet the weight of his remorse clouded his mind, making it impossible to envision. As the days rolled on, a moment arrived when Emily strolled through the town park, cradling Lila in her arms, and Jack caught sight of her. It was as if a surge of energy coursed through him. From a distance, he spotted her outline, yet it was the image of the infant cradled in her embrace that struck him with an unexpected force. The tiny girl, so fragile and gentle, possessed a quality that ignited an unusual, unexplainable warmth within him. He felt the weight of the moment as he contemplated stepping forward, uncertain of the welcome that awaited him. A few days later, Jack mustered the bravery to approach Emily's door and give it a gentle knock. The resonant thud of his knuckles against the wood reverberated deep within him. As she swung the door wide, cradling Lila in her embrace, the gaze she cast upon him was as cold as winter's breath. "What is it that you seek, Jack?" she inquired, her voice unwavering, yet the unease within her was hard to conceal. Jack took a deep breath. "Emily, I simply longed to be in your presence, to witness the two of you together. I wish to express my sincerest apologies. I wish to set things straight." Emily gazed at him, her mind racing as she attempted to unravel the words that hung in the air between them. She had moved beyond the sharp pain that had once gripped her. As the days passed, the scars of her past began to fade, each moment weaving a new chapter in her journey. Yet, there was an additional layer. She had shed the weight of fear and the burden of reliance Jack Carter's life. Jack found himself powerless in her presence now. "Set things straight," she echoed with a sardonic chuckle. "Jack, you've shattered it all, and now you believe you can just step through that door and wipe away your actions?" Jack cast his gaze downward, burdened by the significance of her words. "I realize I made a mistake. Up. I understand the pain I caused you, Emily. Yet, my desire is to be an excellent father. I long to weave myself into the tapestry of Lila's life. I kindly ask for an opportunity." Emily inhaled deeply, gathering her thoughts. The sight of Jack begging was an unexpected twist she could never have envisioned just a few months prior. Yet, she realized that allowing feelings or memories to guide her choices was no longer an option. She placed Lila in her crib and turned to confront Jack directly, her eyes brimming with an extraordinary power he had never encountered before. "Jack, you shattered me," she started, her voice soft yet resolute. "In my time of greatest need, you chose to walk away, leaving me in solitude. Your actions left me feeling completely unimportant. However, have you ever considered this? I transformed into a new version of myself, and now my daughter deserves a tapestry woven with hope and fulfillment. She deserves a true father figure, one who is there for her, reliable and steadfast. And what about you, Jack? Your actions haven't demonstrated any of those qualities. Emily's words pierced Jack's heart, leaving lasting emotional hurt. He attempted to reply, but he understood that no words could alter her feelings. He whispered, filled with urgency, I just want to make the right choice now. With her arms crossed and a determined posture, Emily stood firm. If you aspire to be a father, Jack, it's essential to demonstrate your commitment through your deeds, not just your speech. You need to demonstrate to me, Lila, and to yourself that you have the capacity to transform into someone new. Because I refuse to allow space for additional remorse in either of our lives. Jack nodded thoughtfully, absorbing the significance of the challenge Emily had presented to him. Yet, he couldn't help but acknowledge the truth in her words. He had wandered for months, evading the weight of responsibility and drowning in a sea of self-pity. Yet, if he genuinely sought transformation, he would need to begin anew, mending not just Emily's trust, but also the self-worth he had let slip away. As Jack strolled away from Emily's house, his thoughts swirling with contemplation, she gently shut the door and made her way back to the living room where Lila lay in serene slumber. She looked at her daughter for a moment, experiencing a swirl of feelings, relief, pride, and most importantly, the undeniable realization that she had discovered her inner strength. Jack lingered in her memories, a chapter she couldn't rewrite, yet he held no power over the narrative yet to unfold. The future was theirs, a canvas waiting for their brushstrokes, and she felt the power of creation in her hands. After all the struggles and efforts, the tranquility Emily had tirelessly pursued finally found its way into her life. Lila Grace thrived with vibrant health and happiness, while Ryan stood steadfast as a source of unwavering support for both Emily and her little one. He appeared nearly every day, bringing along fresh fruits, assisting with medical appointments, or just enjoying moments with Lila, who seemed to glow with joy whenever he was near. It was a connection forged in trust and respect, a lesson Emily had come to cherish profoundly. Yet, this tranquility was on the brink of being disrupted by an unforeseen tempest. Samantha Hayes, the enigmatic figure who had vanished from Willow Springs following the chaos she brought into Jack's life, had returned. She arrived back in town without a word, cruising in her sleek imported car, her dark sunglasses hiding a gaze filled with unspoken resentment. Jack's downfall and Emily's humble yet significant triumph felt like a sharp sting to her heart. She was haunted by the idea that Emily, the woman she had brought low, had not only endured but flourished beyond her wildest dreams. Samantha embarked on her campaign against Emily with a quiet yet sharp intensity. With the remnants of her social ties, she wove tales that danced through the town, capturing the attention of all who heard them. Have you heard the intriguing news about Lila and her connection to Jack? I've come across some intriguing tales suggesting that Ryan is actually the biological father. She would softly share her tales in a beauty salon or while waiting in line at the market. The tale swiftly took hold, spreading like wildfire as it often did in Willow Springs. As Emily strolled past, a wave of intrigue washed over the crowd, their hushed voices weaving tales in her wake. Some even had the courage to approach her and inquire, "Emily, is it true? Could Ryan be Lila's father?" Emily, having faced the town's scrutiny in the past, found herself briefly unsettled. It wasn't a matter of self doubt. Rather, it was the relentless cruelty of Samantha, who seemed intent on weaving yet another unnecessary scandal into her narrative. What sort of individual engages in such actions? She pondered, gazing at Lila as she slumbered serenely in her crib. Upon catching wind of the rumor, Ryan's anger ignited like a wildfire. She has ventured into uncharted territory. "I can't allow this to continue," he declared, holding Emily's hands tightly. Yet Samantha's journey was far from over. She arrived at the community gathering, fully aware that Emily would be present. With her impeccable attire and an undeniable sense of superiority, Samantha immediately set out to stir the pot with her. "Oh, Emily, how is dear little Lila doing?" With a cynical smile, Samantha remarked on the familiarity of her eyes, drawing curious glances from those around the two women. With her heart racing, Emily maintained her composure. "My daughter is thriving, thank you. What about you, Samantha? How is your inner voice treating you?" Emily's cutting reply stirred a quiet ripple through the audience. Yet Samantha, with the cunning of a seasoned serpent, understood that she required a more potent weapon to tarnish Emily's standing. In just a few days, Samantha skillfully swayed a handful of chatty townspeople to openly cast doubt on Lila's lineage. Once upon a time, a local tabloid, notorious for its knack for sensationalism, unleashed a storm when it published an anonymous note. This note hinted at a secret romance between Ryan and Emily, claiming their connection had blossomed long before her marriage to Jack came to an end. That moment marked a significant turning point for Emily. She understood that allowing Samantha to escape unscathed was not an option. For months, I've held my silence, allowing others to share their narratives about me. But that was it, she said to Ryan as she held Lila close to her heart. With Ryan by her side, Emily felt it was finally the moment to reveal the truth about Samantha. In the week that followed, the town square came alive with a vibrant public event aimed at gathering support for the local school. It was an ideal moment waiting to unfold. As always, Samantha arrived, striving to capture the spotlight with her artificial smiles and carefully crafted appearance. Emily, who had held her poise until that moment, asked to take the stage prepared for sharing her thoughts. As she approached the microphone, her voice resonated with confidence. and her eyes sparkled with resolve. She started by expressing her gratitude to everyone who attended today to show their support for our school, capturing the attention of the audience and eliciting a mix of curious glances and surprised reactions, particularly from Samantha. However, prior to moving forward, I must take a moment to discuss an important matter. Recently, unsettling tales have been spreading about me, my daughter, and my friend Ryan. Emily inhaled deeply, sensing the gravity of what she was about to share. These tales were spun by an individual who has already caused serious emotional pain on my family and who, regrettably, persists in disseminating falsehoods. I'm here to share with you the tale that Lila Grace is indeed the daughter of Jack Carter, and I possess the evidence to back it up. All eyes turned, and a hush enveloped the gathering. Emily raised an envelope, her fingers gently tracing its edges as if it contained a world of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Here are the results of a paternity test, which I had done to provide clarity and assurance about my daughter's identity. She held the envelope aloft, not yet breaking the seal, but her posture spoke volumes about her readiness for whatever might come next. Samantha, seated among the crowd, felt a wave of unease wash over her for the very first time. Moreover, Emily pressed on, her voice brimming with feeling. The individual who has labored tirelessly to damage my name is the very same one who shattered Jack Carter's existence and sought to do the same to mine. However, I refuse to allow that to occur. Willow Springs deserves a brighter narrative. What we seek is togetherness, reality. Emily's words ignited a wave of appreciation, beginning as a gentle murmur and swiftly crescendoing into a powerful roar. Those who once questioned her now appeared to grasp the reality with newfound clarity. Samantha attempted to sneak away quietly, yet she was confronted with piercing looks and muted murmurs of discontent. Her departure from the town lacked the charm and allure that marked her arrival. This time, she departed, feeling the weight of humiliation, stripped of allies' credibility and any glimmer of redemption. From afar, Jack observed the unfolding scene and came to understand that his time in Willow Springs had lost its purpose. Feeling a mix of shame and realization that Emily had moved on, he made the choice to depart from the town, seeking a fresh start and a chance to reshape his future in a new place. He slipped away silently, carrying with him the echoes of his past missteps, yearning for a future where he could transform into someone greater. Emily, in contrast, experienced a sense of relief wash over her. With Samantha finally out of her life, and with Ryan's support, along with the encouragement of the community, she discovered she was prepared to embrace the next chapter. Lila, with her innocent smile, was a gentle reminder that every struggle had its purpose. The days that came after Samantha and Jack's exit ushered in a serene chapter for Emily Thompson. For the first time in what seemed like an eternity, she felt a sense of freedom, unburdened by the shadows of whispers, scrutiny, or treachery. Her home, now alive with joy and the cheerful sounds of Lila Grace, had become a sanctuary of warmth and optimism. The echoes of yesterday remained in her heart, yet, like a well-healed scar, they no longer caused her pain. Ryan Miller stayed close to Emily, providing not just practical help, but also a shoulder to lean on. He appeared nearly every day, occasionally bringing a steaming cup of coffee, and at other times, delightful toys for Lila. In his presence, a serene warmth enveloped the air, a feeling that transcended the need for elaborate displays or spoken sentiments. Lila, in particular, held a deep affection for Ryan. Each time he walked through the door, her eyes sparkled with joy, and her little hands stretched out toward him, as if she had an innate understanding that he held a special place in her world. One afternoon, as Ryan assisted Emily in putting together a new piece of furniture for Lila's room, the two shared a hearty laugh over a humorous blunder in the instructions. Their laughter danced around the room, weaving a tapestry of joy that Emily had long since forgotten. A sense of buoyancy that lifted her spirits. As Ryan took a brief moment to gaze at her, he perceived a change in the depth of her eyes. It wasn't a feeling of sorrow or weariness, but a deep sense of appreciation. "You know, Ryan," she said, her gaze earnest, "I really don't know how I would have managed all of this without you." With a humble grin, Ryan simply shrugged, embodying a quiet charm. "It was something you would have unraveled, Emily. Your strength is unmatched in my eyes." Yet, as he spoke, he sensed that his words fell short of conveying the depth of his admiration for Emily. It wasn't just her resilience that impressed him, it was the remarkable way she had turned her suffering into something meaningful. Drawing from her own experiences, Emily felt a calling to support other women navigating comparable obstacles. With Ryan's encouragement, she started to share her experiences and arrange weekly gatherings for single mothers in the town. The gathering began modestly, consisting of a few women who, much like Emily, had faced their own trials and tribulations in life. Yet as time passed, it began to expand. Women from nearby towns started to gather, drawn by the promise of encouragement and motivation. At each gathering, Emily recounted her experiences while also absorbing the narratives of the other women. It was a haven where emotions danced freely, weaving together moments of joy, sorrow, and wisdom. Emily came to understand that her suffering had served a purpose. She had discovered a profound calling, a reason that illuminated all the trials she had faced. In the meetings, she would often share, cradling Lila in her arms, that we are not alone. Even in moments when it seems like hope is lost, there lies an undeniable power to keep pushing ahead. In the meantime, her connection with Ryan unfolded beautifully, taking its time to grow. Ryan honored Emily's boundaries, understanding that genuine affection unfolds in its own time. He didn't create elaborate displays or make sweeping statements, but he was there in the subtle, significant instances. It was a moment to remember the day Leela took her first steps. He stood by, cheering with Emily, their hearts full as they held her hands, witnessing her tears of joy. Or the nights he reached out just to see if she required anything, even though he was aware she was managing just fine. All right. Emily started to understand that her feelings for Ryan transcended mere friendship. It wasn't a fast paced love story like those portrayed on screen, but instead it unfolded gradually, much like a plant establishing its roots firmly and securely. She understood that the affection growing between them was rooted in respect, trust, and a deep shared admiration. On a bright afternoon, as the trio wandered through the park, Emily observed Ryan cradling Lila in his arms, gesturing towards a bird perched high in a tree, and taking the time to share the names of each species with her. The moment was understated, yet it carried such weight that a surge of feelings washed over her. After a long time, a realization washed over her. Joy had finally found its way back into her life. As the sun dipped below the horizon in Willow Springs, casting a warm glow of orange and gold across the sky, Emily paused at the crest of a hill to absorb the breathtaking scene. Lila nestled against her chest, her eyelids heavy after a day brimming with joy and adventure. Ryan stood beside her, hands tucked in his pockets, looking out at the horizon with a serene smile. Emily turned to him, and in that fleeting moment, their eyes exchanged a silent narrative that conveyed everything they felt. Silence spoke volumes. They found themselves in the perfect moment, right where fate intended them to be. Emily embraced Lila tightly, savoring the comforting warmth of her daughter's petite frame nestled against her. "We made it," she mused, as a soft breeze playfully danced through her hair. She understood that life would continue to present its trials, yet she was aware that she possessed all the essentials she required. Once upon a time, there was a woman whose daughter was a source of joy. Alongside her was a man who cherished her deeply, and through life's challenges, she discovered a remarkable strength within herself. Emily's journey wasn't defined by flawless conclusions, but rather by fresh starts. As the sun sank, Harlan yokied the horizon. She sensed that the future shimmered with the same vibrant hues that painted the sky above. And so concludes the poignant tale of Emily, Lila, Grace, and their journey of resilience. After enduring betrayal, gossip, and the trials of single motherhood, Emily discovered tranquility, genuine love, and the resilience to transform her suffering into motivation. But what about your journey? How did you feel about the tale of her journey? Imagine stepping into Emily's world. What choices would you have made? Would you have offered Jack another opportunity? Or would you have confronted every challenge with unwavering courage, just as she did? Or perhaps you've experienced a journey like this one yourself. What journey did you embark on to rise above it? We'd love to hear your experiences or reflections in the comments. We eagerly await your tales. And don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for more captivating and uplifting narratives like this one. Until our paths cross again.